Hey there, diecast fans, how's it going? So what have I pulled out of the garage today? Well, one of my subscribers in an earlier video, he had commented on this white Seville up here, and stating how he had never seen that before. And I started looking around and I realized, wow, you know what? I have a lot of Hot Wheels Bustleback Sevilles in my collection. I thought to myself, they kind of deserve their own video by themselves. So what I've done is brought up collectively all of my Bustleback Cadillac Sevilles from Hot Wheels to show you. And they come from every point in time you could imagine, from the very beginning with the ones that are spinning on the turntable to the later ones that were reissues that they did back in 2011. So say we dive into this. So let's get a little history perspective. So prior to that Bustleback generation, this is what a Cadillac Seville looked like, okay? It had what was called General Motors sheer look. This is what they ended up basing their B and C body downsized vehicles on, was this kind of a look right here. You know, you see it's very angular, very square, but it's also very attractive and also very popular as well, okay? They sold a lot of Cadillac Sevilles in that body style. So what in the world drove this change to do this Bustleback? Well, in 1978, General Motors downsized their intermediate cars, and a version of the Cutlass and a version of the Buick Century ended up with a style like this. Now, this is a snazzier Cutlass 442 version, but you get a general idea. They had both 2- and 4-door versions of this Bustleback, okay? Now, I don't know why they thought this was a good idea, but they decided to try it out. As I mentioned before, General Motors kind of like to beta test their customers. So when they were going to redesign the Seville for 1980, they switched it to the new front-wheel drive E-body platform. They did the Eldorado, Riviera, and Toronado the year before in 79. The Seville got done in 1980 on that new front-wheel drive E-body platform. In fact, the Seville and the Eldorado in these years, they share a lot of components, such as the cowl, the front structure, and even the roof skin is the same. The difference is on the Eldorado, they would do a restrike to get that real stiff roof line. Let's take a look at these die casts now. So I have two of these original 1980 versions, and these were quite popular in the Hot Wheels lineup. This is actually my one in the least good condition, and you can probably see the reason why. You see what's going on here with the tampo that makes this burgundy section? It's all got these fine little cracks in it. That's probably from age and improper storage, okay? I bought this version at I think it was the Turkey Rod Run we have here in Daytona Beach. And it was at their little flea market they had there that day. And who knows how this car was stored. And that's probably why it ended up looking like this. This actually came out of a blister pack in this condition. So that shows you right there. Probably improper storage. It's got a little bubble up here, and a couple of bubbles actually on the hood. But I remember when I first saw this car as a kid, back in, it would have been 1982 I saw this. I thought this was just the sharpest looking Hot Wheels you ever seen. I mean, it was just stunning to me. The two-tone, you know, the way they had the tail lamps and that nice red, perfectly red like they're supposed to be, the glass sunroof. I mean, everything about it was just so elegant. And I just really liked it. And I thought to myself, yeah, I gotta have that. Yeah. So this one here was added to the collection more recently. This one, you'll notice, is in a lot better condition. See how the tampo is absolutely just perfect and nice and clean. This is also fresh from a blister. It just has one little minor thing from the factory. Something got caught in the metal on the trunk, and when they picked it out, it left a little divot. But you see that the paint is flawless. Glass is flawless. Everything about it is just in really nice shape. I mean, you know, most of the time Hot Wheels does a good job with their castings, and this is no exception. Yeah. I got two versions of these. One because I was trying to get a version that was a little bit better. And I have a thing too. When I have a car that I really like, a diecast that I really like, I tend to buy multiple versions of it anyways, as you guys have probably already seen by some of my other collections I've got. Yeah, that is a sharp, sharp model. I've always liked it. And you know what? This ended up being one of Hot Wheels' most popular models, as you're going to find out when I show you some of the reissues. All right, before we get to the reissues, let me show you another version that they did of the original 1980 casting. So they came out with this version around 82, 83, I think it was, sometime around there. Now, about the only version of these Cadillac Sevilles I don't have is the Real Riders version. That's because it is terrifyingly expensive. Goodness gracious. So with the gold version, they eliminated the two-tone, but you instead got this really sparkly metal flake gold paint, which is just wow. I mean, this is like Las Vegas ready right here. This glitters. Same kind of red interior with the red tail lamps they did there. And like I said, in the gold version, they did a Real Riders version, which it looks a little funny with white letter tires, but it has that cool factor. And you'll see how they did the front end on the original version. When you see the reissue versions, you're going to see that there's a slight alteration. So yeah, this is just another example of a really nice model. Love that metal flake paint. Hot Wheels always had some of the most sparkly metal flake paint on their cars. They did a really nice job with that. All right, so in 2011, Hot Wheels decided to do some reissues of some of their popular models from the 80s. And this would have been in the mainline collection, okay? And they came out with two color versions. There was the brown and dark brown and light brown you see here, and of course the blue off to the side there. And what they did was they took this, it had the same body casting as from 1980, but they did dumb it down a little bit by giving you this plastic chassis. Now, one advantage the plastic chassis did have was that when it's plated like this, you get this nice shiny chrome bumpers. But everything, all the pieces other than the chassis are from the original 1980 castings. The interior, the glass, the body, everything is the same, only the chassis is different. And then of course they put their current upgraded wheels they have on there, which if you think about it, with those wire spoke looking wheels, that actually almost works perfectly for this car, doesn't it? Yeah, I think of the reissues, the two-tone brown one is probably the best. It works the best with the interior color. You'll notice on the front end here, I'm going to show you. Notice how on the original version, the headlights were kind of divided. They looked like separate individual headlights. See, here they didn't do that. They didn't put the divider in. That's another way they kind of dumbed it down a little bit. With these later cars, by this point, they had, perfected these things, and, everything is just, top notch, the paint and everything. They did put the little Cadillac emblems there on the sail panel, and also there as well. And let's take a look at the blue one now. Also, when I show you the blue ones, I'm going to show you something. There's a variation in the paint shade on both my versions I've got here. Check this out. Look at that. This one is like a little darker, the shade of blue. So the blue two-tone one, I think it looks pretty good. I just think it's a little weird that you got a red interior. But, here's the thing. I have seen in the metal a Cadillac that had a blue body and a red interior. And it was a 1979 Sedan DeVille featured on not a Sedan DeVille, it was a Fleetwood Brougham. 79 Fleetwood Brougham, and I think someone must have custom ordered from the factory because I don't remember Cadillac doing that on purpose. I think they would even make you sign a waiver if you wanted a non-standard interior color and exterior color combination. But it's pretty sharp. It's just like I said, it's a little strange with the red interior and the blue car. And yeah, you already saw the color variation that they did. But I think you've also seen my Firebirds that I had from 2011 reissue as well. But yeah, this was just such a popular model in their lineup. That's one of the reasons they did these special reissues back in 2011. And I like the fact that they did two versions. They added the Seville script right there, the little cloisonne on the trunk lid there. That was really nice. They add some little touches. Like I said, even though they cheaped out a little bit with the plastic chassis. Okay, so let's get to this crown jewel white one here, because this one's really spectacular. This is also the one that my subscriber commented on. I think it was Mr. Gray. So thank you for noticing this car, Mr. Gray. So in 2011, in addition to doing these mainline reissues, they also did a reissue in what was called their Hot Ones. And when they did the Hot Ones, they were the more expensive models because they came with a metal chassis and a little extra details. So in 2011, they did a Hot Ones version of the Seville. And as you can see, what they did was they gave it the gold flake, not gold flake, but they gave it the gold wheels. And the car is painted in a gorgeous pearlescent white with the light gold on the sides, which is just such a sharp, striking combination. It's got almost like a, I guess you call it almost like a butternut color interior. But you'll notice the tail lamps are still red. And I thought that was really nice that they did that. They kept the red tail lamps, but they changed the interior color to go with the rest of the theme of the car. And this has, you know, a proper metal chassis, just like the original 1980 version did. And but they still didn't do the little separator for the headlamps to make them look like two separate pieces, which would have been, you know, more proper. You see right there, it says there's the original issue date 1980, and then there's the reissue 2011 date right there. So yeah, this one is probably, even though I love those two original burgundy over silver ones the best, this one here is just even a notch above those, because it's just so exquisite the way they did that with that pearlescent paint and everything. All right, and just to show you that the Bustle back craze wasn't just a GM thing, I'm going to show you a kind of an oddity. So Chrysler Corporation reintroduced their Imperial for 1981, and they gave it kind of a faux Bustle back. You see that little character line right there? Similar to the Seville, but then it comes out into almost a regular trunk right there. Yeah, that was their version. They decided to get in on the bandwagon with that look back then too. But theirs was a little more restrained. It wasn't quite so, you know, extreme. So you may have remembered when I was talking about the Tomica ones, the GM designer Wayne Cady, he was the one who was responsible for this body style. He was trying to evoke the look of those cars from the 30s and 40s. They had the kind of Bustle style trunk with the long hood. And, you know, here's the thing. It's like I told you, this was a very polarizing design for General Motors. People either loved this car or they absolutely hated it. And they sold a fair number of them, not as many as the prior generation Seville, but they sold enough that it's kind of, you know, it's not a loser for sure, but it wasn't a smash hit like the prior Seville was. So there we have it, boys and girls, my entire Bustleback Seville collection from Hot Wheels. Hope you all enjoyed that, and keep tuned because we're going to show you a lot more stuff. I got a lot more coming up. So in the meantime, we'll see you in the next video. You all take care.